Welcome back to another episode of 86. And I believe this is the 9th episode, but it's another historical episode because we got our second dose. I had to pray for it. Second in front of the house guest here. And this is one of my closest friends I've met since I've been in Georgia. Down to earth, hardworking. We actually met at a restaurant called Muslim Turner.
Yes, sir.
And we kind of had the same walk or pathway to management. But somebody we can joke with, our jokes be a little messed up, but somebody we can joke with, David Gonzales.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, P.
Happy to be here, bro.
Yeah, man. I haven't seen you since damn.
It's been a little bit.
Yeah. The last time we went, I moved over here around May.
Right.
So the last time we went walking probably was maybe a year and a half ago.
That's crazy, honestly, because it doesn't feel that long ago.
Yeah, man.
I was telling you a minute ago, we used to be around the corner from each other.
Yeah,
now I have like a 15-minute drive over here, but it's all good.
Yeah, man. The times, man. When you think about it, it'd be all the memories.
Mm-hmm.
But how you feeling though, man? How was traffic?
I'm good, bro. Traffic wasn't too bad, middle of the day. So just when you get into Woodstock, going behind all the slow old people, but it wasn't too bad. I used to live up here, so it was kind of like a drive down the lane. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you from Arizona, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I've never been to Arizona before.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard it. I think everybody knows Arizona is pretty warm. But what's the food down there in Arizona? What are they special? Is there a certain culture that's down there?
Yeah, well, I mean, my last name is Gonzales, even though I might not look like it. But yeah, so obviously just growing up in my family, just some local Mexican restaurants and stuff like that. The food, I would say, if you go to a Mexican spot over here, and even where I'm at in Marietta, there's really good authentic taco places and stuff like that. There's still something over here on this side of the country as opposed to over there, and the taste and the flavor. And really, it's all about the sourcing, right?
Yeah.
And so over that way, you're a lot closer to really good food sourcing as far as agriculture.
Yeah.
And things like that. And so the food just tastes a little fresher, just a little better. But it's still just normal Mexican food for me. I mean, that's what I grew up eating.
Okay. Yeah, that would. Then, now that you explained it, that does make a lot more sense. You are closer to that part of the world. Yeah, so how did you get into culinary? Take me on the journey. How you got into hospitality?
Well, it started back in 2016.
Yeah.
I needed a job.
That's like everybody. I needed a job.
I needed to pay my mom back for something, and that's all I'll say about that. But I needed to pay my mom back, and up until that point, the only way I'd made money was occasionally by playing guitar, maybe some odd jobs or something like that, and even worked at a car dealership one time. But I needed a job, and I remember going to a Zaxby's one time and going to the drive-thru. And I saw this guy I knew named Bailey working the drive-thru window at a Zaxby's. Yeah. And I was like, Bailey's a cool dude. And if Bailey can work at a Zaxby's, then why don't I work at a Zaxby's?
Yes.
And so it was the first time I'd ever gotten a job in food. I think when I was either a senior in high school or fresh out of high school, I tried to get a job at a Chick-fil-A. Mm-hmm. But there was these unwritten rules that you needed to call and check in on your application status. And if you didn't do that, they wouldn't hire you.
That is true.
Something really stupid.
That is stupid.
Okay, it actually is true. So anyways, I tried to get a job in food, and that didn't work out at Chick-fil-A. And then I was like, I like wings. I like Zaxby's. Mm-hmm. So let me get a job at this Zaxby's. And that was back in 2016. I remember on the application, I said I wanted to make $8 an hour. So they paid me minimum wage. They paid me $7.25. I remember Arla, who hired me, and she said everything was good, and then $7.25 was my rate.
Yeah, that's kind of close to 8. You think?
Yeah, I mean, back then it's $7.25. Even though it was 9 years ago, I mean that was a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that was kind of my entryway into the service industry.
Yeah.
I worked front of house there. I consider myself drive-through king. The little computers they have or the monitors that have how long orders take, and maybe percentage. I never wanted to drop below 90%. Like it was like a source of pride for me. So I wanted to keep the drive-through moving.
So what was the 90%? Like 2.5 minutes?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember, but I know, after a certain amount of time that someone sat waiting there at the window,
Yeah.
it would slowly drop. It restarted at the beginning of each shift. So there was the lunch shift and the dinner shift, obviously. And so, that was a source of pride for me, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to do a good job, and I hate slow service. So I wanted to make sure we were moving things along really quickly. But that was my first job in the service industry, but I absolutely love that job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you work at any other like food service industry jobs back in Arizona?
Not back in Arizona, but all while I've been here, kind of growing up here in Georgia. So all of my work experience and my culinary experience, I don't even know if I want to call it that, because it's not always how I view it, but it's all been here outside of the like metros.
Okay. So what draws you to like hospitality? Like, I feel like, when we are in the hospitality industry, like there's something that's wrong with us because we keep coming back to it.
Right.
Like every day we put our best foot forward. Like, what's that for you?
It's funny because someone a couple of weeks ago asked me, why work in restaurants? Why do that? And I just said, why do we do anything? It's just kind of what piqued my interest, right? Yeah. Like going through Zaxby and see Bailey work at the window. I'm like, I could do that. But now what keeps me coming back, honestly, is just I pride myself on just doing a good job. Yeah. And I enjoy being wanted and being needed. And so if I can do that well, and the people that I'm working with appreciate that, and I'm working with good people, like I've been really fortunate to do so for a long time. And that's what keeps me coming back, and just really boils down to just getting the job done and what I do.
Yeah, I respect that. Because that's definitely a big part in, having a very successful operation. Mm-hmm. That you got to have people that do the job, people that you respect. And if you like them, that's even better. Yeah. Because that makes it a lot much easier. Like, it's like the super camaraderie, right? Part of that. I respect that. So, Must and Turner's, when did you start working at Must and Turner?
I started working at Must and Turner's in November of 2021, which is insane that it was already almost that long ago, or coming up on 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But, I started working there. I'd never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
I'd never heard of it growing up in Cobb County. And, it was on the opposite side of Cobb County.
Yeah.
But I wasn't looking for Must and Turner's. I wasn't looking for anything in particular. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I just Googled server jobs, Marietta, Georgia. Yeah. And it came up on a Google search. I didn't even do Indeed or anything like that. Yeah. Applied through the website with the basic resume. And that's kind of how I found the place. Just stumbled upon it. Yeah.
I've had a similar pathway to Must and Turner. I have spoken about it on 8ighty 6ix before, but I was let go from my previous job. I was a part of a Facebook group, and the employee her name was Kim. She used to work there. I put like, hey, any job hiring? She's gonna be Must and Turner's. Came in, I interviewed with Mike, which was still one of the funniest interviews. Yeah. I came back the next day and I started, and I had a job offer from Walmart. Now, the one thing about Must and Turner's that was unique was the camaraderie of people that was there. Like, it was very family oriented, even though it did have its moments, like every restaurant does. Yeah. But just speak on your experience at Must and Turner's, because you were a server for I think like 6 to 8 months, maybe like a year,
something like.
Then you got promoted to a front of the house manager. So tell me how that journey was with Must and Turner.
Yeah. Similar experience. Went out, interviewed, and then staged, and then was offered the position. And I didn't really know what I was walking into. When I got that job serving there, I was kind of like in a point. I'd been married for a year, and I think my wife had just gotten a job with Cobb Schools, and I was just at this point where I didn't understand who I was, what I was doing. Was kind of really frustrated with where I was at, and so I did what you were kind of saying. We always find our way back in the industry. Yeah. And I had served previously at the Battery outside of the Braves Stadium, and I was like, well, let me get back into serving here. I didn't know what I was there for,
Yeah.
what, how much I wanted to work, how many hours. I probably said like 25 to 30 or something like that. But yeah, so I just started serving there, and you know, very quickly I fell in love with the environment.
Yeah.
Definitely the people and what the company stood for. And what really drew me into Mustang Turners and the company specifically was their mission and their focus on serving people and serving the community.
Yeah.
And growing up in Cobb County and finding this really awesome niche store that I'd never heard of in a place where I grew up, that's what really wanted me to work in there and staying involved. So, yeah, November 21, I was hired as a server, and then around summertime, so this is 22, summer of 22, and I remember they were looking to fill a management position. There was like I said, I'm not going to say really any names, but there was that beverage manager who was a little crazy, and and so he was let go. There was some movement around, and his role was replaced. But then that left an opening for front house manager. And I remember they started stodging some guys, and they were all from outside of the company. And I remember when I was reading through all the materials when I was first hired, they said that they like to hire from within.
Yeah.
And so I was like, who are all these randos that they're trying to hire? Like, we just went through a process where someone didn't work out from outside of the company. And so I was like, I don't really, what are we doing? Yeah.
Why would you do it again?
Right. So I was like, okay, well, I didn't really know what I was doing when I got this job. And now I found this place that I really enjoy being at. I really enjoy the people. I love the food. To this day, I think it's still some of the best food that I've ever had. And so I was like, why don't I throw my name in for the manager? And it was a pretty long process getting hired and everything. About a month-long process, but on the other end of it, came out and was hired as a full-time manager there, and that's kind of how we started to grow close and really get to know each other, because we were the new ones. We were always closing.
We were always closing.
We were always closing, bro.
12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Bro.
Friday, Saturday, we was always closing.
Oh man, it was always so hot in that restaurant, right?
Yeah.
It was always so hot, just smelly and oily. But yeah, bro.
Yeah, one of the things you brought up was they have some, a lot of their food, a lot of their dishes that come through Mustang Turners were like very, very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of your favorite dishes? I already know one you're gonna say off the top. I already know.
I don't. It's been so long. I don't know if we're gonna.
The power of Philly?
Here. The Philly, dude. See, I wouldn't have even thought about the Philly. Okay, well, backing up, when I first started at Mustang Turners, I was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
So I was in love with that Philly.
Yeah.
I was in love with that Philly because it was one of the vegetarian options, and it wasn't really healthy because it was drowned in oil. But that's what made it so good, you know. And so when I started working there as a vegetarian, but then as time went on, and I started eating meat again, and I really, really loved the burger. And I still think to this day, I don't think any other burger beats it, honestly. And whenever I get a burger, I'm often disappointed because it's not as good as Mustang Turners burger. White chocolate brownie.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But white chocolate brownie fresh out of the walk. I liked it cooled off because it kind of made it like fudge.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So that brownie was very good.
Yeah, I dream about that brownie. I really do. Yeah, man. Pretty much anything that was put down in front of me there, I would destroy it because it was good. And it was really just because it wasn't anything fancy. That's what I would tell people. We're not out here reinventing the wheel. A lot of these sandwiches, a lot of this food, it's stuff you can get anywhere. But it's our sourcing that made the difference. And just using better, higher quality ingredients. To sound like I'm doing a promotional ad, but that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
That's what it was. Just really good sourcing and proper preparation.
Yeah.
And taking the time and care, and then you put the people behind it. And I think that because it needs that love.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I think that's what made everything there so great.
Yeah. Now, to add to that, anytime I have a Reuben somewhere else, I compare it to mustard turtle Reuben.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, nah, yeah, it's all right, but this is not what this is not what I was expecting. This is not
Right.
what I want. So I definitely understand that. So now that you are in the management role, what are some of the lessons that you learned your time there being a manager?
Well, I would say when I was there, I didn't learn enough, or at least I didn't know enough things in my head. Because I'm still with the company. I'm just at a different restaurant in the company now, in a much different role, in a much more reduced capacity. But I would say now being just a little bit older, I wish that when I first started managing there, because I had to be 26 maybe,
Sure.
I didn't allow myself to be wrong enough, and so while I do feel like I always wanted to put my best foot forward and do the right thing, I didn't take criticism well as much, and I took it personally. And I might have not always let it show, or maybe I would kind of bend the knee and do what others suggested, but it would actually like literally make me mad.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like, well, I feel like I know what I'm doing, and so why would people argue it that I think I have a good thing going? And I think there were times there where, because of the way I spoke, or maybe by the way I reacted, maybe not always like in a mean, angry way,
Yeah.
but maybe just because I know me and I get stoic and just annoyed, I'd show it.
Mhm.
And I probably did too much of that. there. And now I'm in a new restaurant in the company and in a different role and with different people. I'm like, man, all those times I reacted negatively or thought that there was only one way of doing things, I was really doing a disservice to those around me by not being, I think, more of a team player, just more honest with myself,
Mhm. Man, that's good accountability. And that's good that you can sit back and reflect on that time. Because a lot of people, and I'm not saying that about the Turners, but in general, a lot of people can't do that.
Yeah.
Those kind of things. You got any funny stories?
What's crazy is like, no.
Yeah.
And it's not no as in like nothing funny ever happened. I don't remember specific details because we were there so much, 5 days a week.
Yeah, that's fair.
And for me, it isn't as much about like specific individual stories. I really will sit back and I'll just smile thinking about being in the office.
Yeah.
And just having our heads on the desk, just like laughing and cracking up from whatever happened that night, whether it was like a server just doing something crazy or just a wild guest coming in and thinking they know everything, and just honestly sitting back there and just joking around about them, about the situation. And for me, it isn't about the specifics. Like if I sit here and think about something that I can actually remember and look back on it, I can't think of it.
Yeah.
It's all just the individual situation. Every day was like a new chapter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just like a new thing to laugh about. And, there were so many constraints there, like as far as like what we were able to do, like literally what we were able to produce, but also just, it was small.
Yeah.
It was small. And I think about everything that we had to go through on a day-to-day basis and just, and I just think about wrapping it up with a shift drink afterwards.
Yeah.
Just sitting in that office, just busting up laughing. That's what I think about. That's what I like when I think about my time. I just remember laughing. I still think about that. Like I don't always get a night anymore where we're just laughing.
Yeah.
That's
true.
what I think about so fondly about that time.
Now, I'm smaller so much because I thought about this story just as you was telling me. I ain't gonna say no names. We're gonna call this other person in the story, we're gonna call him Q.
Okay.
So one more day we opened up.
One more day we opened
up. And we in there, and I come to the office. I'm like, "Hey, David, listen, Q was complaining about this parking spot." So, listen, you don't gotta move your car. I'm trying to figure it out. He was like, "Bro, like, what's going on?" So then Q come in the office like, "Move your car, move your car out the way. There's my parking spot." And he was like, "No, I'm not moving." He was like, "Your name is not doing it." And he was like, "Well, I'm gonna go home." I was like, "You can't go home. Like, that's like you abandoned your job." And he was like, "You want me to say I'm sorry?" That was like the funniest thing ever that day. Like, he was like, I'm sorry, Q. Like, it's a parking spot.
Yeah.
Man, that day, man. Oh, I just thought about that. And I don't know why that specific story popped into my brain, but that was a day I was like, David truly don't care. He will tell you how it is.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Like, man, yeah, I remember that. And funny enough, the last time I was over there with a friend, I parked in that parking spot. I said I used to not be able to park in this spot. He's like, "What?" And I was like, "It's a long story." But that's what I'm talking about. Like, I should have swallowed my pride back then and just move the car. I should just move my car and just because it just created unnecessary tension because that carried over until that person left.
Yeah,
between them and Ryan.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
And so I should have just swallowed my pride, and I don't want to. And again, when you're there so much and you really take ownership of it, you wanna be the right person and show authority. I guess is that what I'm looking for? But yeah, I should have just moved my car. But I do remember saying, no, I'm not gonna move because that's how I am sometimes. I really am just like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm very straightforward. And I think that's what turns people off.
But to be fair, you shouldn't have moved your car the first place.
I couldn't tell if I was upsetting you. I just didn't want to make you upset.
No, I wasn't upset, but I was just like, bro, like, why are we doing this? It's 8 a.m. We got a 20 top on the books already. Bro. Why are we doing this? Like, can we just focus on the task at hand?
And that's kind of how I was too. And that's why I was kind of like, I don't want to put up with this right now.
Yeah, man. The mornings too, man, they used to be hilarious. Them lunch rushes used to.
I love to do it.
Yeah.
I like the vibe.
Oh yeah. It's more relaxed. It's more quick. It's bouncing. You getting everything out. Then everybody just chilling.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to bring up. We was the family meal kings.
Were we?
Yeah, you used to always make the rice.
Yes, sir. That was that kind of family meal. I thought you meant like on Sundays when we. Yeah, I take pride in my rice.
Yeah, we used to make nachos, tacos, quesadillas.
Yes.
Like, I'm used to make a lot of stuff back there. Like potatoes, breakfast. He's always Chinese food.
Yeah, I would just make the right stuff. I would just make the rice. And maybe I would like kind of help prep, I made broccoli one time.
I would just make the right, it's fair, but you helped. Then we used to all eat. Everybody used to be happy.
Do you remember?
We used to set the mood for the day.
Yeah. Do you remember that one time when I first started helping out with family meals? And I can't remember if it was rice or something. But do you remember when I made something and I was like, I made it wrong, and I just threw away the product? It was like extra product in the bag or something. Yeah. And you just kind of looked at the trash can, and I was like, oh, my bad. I wasn't thinking like a chef. I just was like, oh, there's only a little bit left. I'm just poured it in the trash like it didn't mean anything.
Yeah. We need to save all that stuff.
We did, bro. We had to hit our numbers.
Yeah. That was a very important thing. So, one thing I want to ask, take me through like your mindset on a Friday night. From like a manager perspective. Like how do you get the team ready? How do you get everybody kind of motivated to go do their job? And so how do you kind of just go through the night Friday night? I don't know why I said it back.
No, you're good. I think the most important thing is it starts with yourself and your mental preparation. And so I think that's before you even get to work.
Yeah.
Just starting in a good mindset, getting as much sleep as you can. I don't know everyone's schedule, but just being in a good headspace. Me, I'll go to the gym or whatever, and I like to feel good and energized when I walk in. But then, when you actually get in the door, I tell people at work all the time, I'm such a different person outside of work when I get to work. When I get to work, I turn it on. Because outside of hanging with friends, I'm very stoic. I don't like to talk to people, and I carry around like this mean mugging face. When I get to work, I like to turn it on and really kind of step outside of myself. And so, I get there, leave the parking deck, turn it on, I get ready to go and walk, and then say hello to everyone. Let everyone know that you're there in the building. Remy taught me that, develop a rapport. To make sure you go in and say what's up to everybody.
That's 2 shout-outs, Remy. That's two.
That's 2. Remy,
where you at?
Remy,
that's 2.
Remy, if you're watching this, I love you. I miss you so much. I haven't talked to you since you left, but
shout out to Remy.
Shout out to Remy. But anyways, yeah, develop a report. But then I get down. The very first thing that I do is sit down. I print out this daily manager roll call sheet. It's like something that we talk about in pre-shift. I just go through like the daily notes and news and all that. But I'll write down on that. I'll go through the books and I'll write down any large parties, who that party belongs to, not the server, but like the guest, like who booked it, because maybe someone who's been there a bunch. So I'll write down all the large parties, who they belong to. I'll write down all any birthdays and anniversaries. And then at this restaurant at Local 3, we have way more BEOs than we had at Bustin' Turners. And so,
I believe that.
yeah,
I've seen their kitchen.
it's actually insane, because some nights there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 7 different event spaces. So some nights you can have 4 or 5 events. So I'll write down all the BEOs. I'll write down who's in the building, who am I working with. So whether I'm in the club workforce or whether I'm in Local 3, I'll write down that staff roster, who's handling what BEO. And I just want to make myself informed of who's going to be here, staff-wise, and who's coming in guest-wise. Go through the allergies, go through the drink preferences and everything like that. I want to make sure that I don't look stupid because something's going on that I was unaware of. So that's the very first thing I do. Once I actually sit down and get ready for the night, I just want to make myself informed and make sure I know what's going on. And then after that, it's all vibes. You know what I mean? It's all vibes. And so more staff will roll in, say what's up, kind of get with the people on the critical parties and things like that. Hey, make sure this is happening. And then for lineup, the way we do it at Local 3 is front of house, we'll talk about what's on the books, the news and the notes, and that's why I write it all down. So I'm aware. I'm a physical learner. I don't like tell you, write it down. So we'll talk about all that. And then Chef will talk about the daily lineup, talk about the oysters, the Rockies and the Raws, the meats and cheeses. And then there's always at least 2 to sometimes 4 specials.
That's a lot of special.
Yeah. It's never more than 4.
And you always like one on each station, kind of, sort of?
Yeah, actually, sometimes there can be multiple coming from the same station, but normally it's like, a saute or middle will have one, and the Warhorse line might pick up one because there's 2 separate ones.
Yeah.
But while Chef's talking, I'm writing all this down as if I was a server, because again, what if it's busy and I have to step in for one of my servers or something like that? I don't want to look stupid or uninformed. So while sometimes I feel like, I feel a little weird being a manager, writing down all like the daily specials, I'm like, no, like I want to be informed and want to know what's going on. That way, if someone asks, because it has happened multiple times, I want to be able to answer the question. Because sometimes when you get into management, just how it is, the deeper you get into management, the less it becomes about the food and more about logistics and operation. And so sometimes you just kind of get stuck in that mindset of logistic operation, just selling the food, but maybe not always. So I make sure I write down good notes, and so that way again I'm well informed. But then lastly, Chef will leave, and now it's kind of take over, and we'll go through whatever we need to talk about. With I don't know, make sure you call the store. That's one thing we're always talking about.
Yeah.
But then after we do that, this staff is great. I mean, this staff is great, and it's not to say anything about any other place we work, but these guys are true professionals at Local 3. So I don't ever have to remind them of much, unless if there's been like a random habitual thing that comes up.
Yeah.
But normally I'll just empower them and be like, look, guys, you guys teach me so much. I learned so much from you. So go out there, especially if it's busy. Hey, a lot of small parties tonight, but we still have, 110 on the books. So that means we're going to be turning over a lot. Do what you do. Let's get it turned over. Let's get people in and out. And, but I always close it with, as always, if you need me, please let me know. Like, I just want to make myself available to people. Because, I'm sure you've worked in an environment where management's not dependable.
Yes.
And it's just really frustrating. And so I want to make sure that staff knows that I'm there for them, that I hear them, but not even just from a management standpoint, but like if there's anything to talk about, if there's anything they're going through, because this is a day-to-day thing, and you're rocking and rolling with these people for long shit. So just letting people know that you're heard from, that you hear them, and that goes a long way. Someone told me recently that my compassion goes a long way, and that's a huge compliment to me. More than you're doing a good job, that just means people are understanding that, hey, I'm here for you, and I want you to have a successful night. And ultimately, because I am running a house, I want you guys to make a lot of money. I want your tips to go up. It again. But yeah, that was a very long-winded answer. That's how I get ready for a busy Friday night.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it sounds like a lot, but it's really simple. Just going and make sure you know it.
Yeah. That was a perfect answer. And that also shows a testament to, your work ethic. And, I know you mentioned you hate slow service and you want to provide a seamless, fluid experience for those guests. That's really, really that's, I don't want to say that's lack, because it is available in the industry, but you don't see a lot of that. And I got an example. I got a part-time job, or let's say I was in between a part-time job, and whenever we get busy, like there are certain managers, they would like just watch you, like just be like, hey, just go through it. Like they would kind of just yell at you, like the orders and the tickets, and I hate that. Like if you're gonna tell me what to do, you should be busy. I don't want to hear that, because I know what to do. I'm just in the weed. You need to come assist me, and be of a leader and get me out of the weed. Then afterwards, we can figure out steps to do. Like, all right, next time you should do this or move like this, or pull all your states down, whatever the case may be. But so I definitely respect that. Being there for your staff, that has your staff respect you, and then you become relatable to your staff, and they'll run through a wall for you. So if they like, hey, David and Vern on the shift tonight, it's going to be a great night. Yeah. Whatever they need me to do, if they need me to just, run the next 4 tables and then after get my own tables, then I'm going to do that. Like a lot of managers, I say a lot, but some managers at Muslim Turner, they didn't get that kind of respect. That's kind of, that's an example I'm thinking. Yeah. And, when we were there, and we were on those shifts, those Fridays, those Saturdays, those Sunday brunches, and it was crazy. I always knew David got my back. If it go down, and David need to hop on Expo, I know I ain't got to worry about it.
I love it.
Yes.
No, I really do, bro.
Expo, and like I knew, like we had good communication. We actually like each other, respect each other. So anytime it was always in the weeds, I knew David. I could count on David. David gonna come through, do what he got to do. Are we done? Cool, let's go on. Right. And that's one thing I admire about you, man. I want to tell you that. When you just explaining that about Local 3, that just solidified it. Oh, you know what, David? You go there, man. You are go there.
I appreciate it. I think that being a manager is really, you're the middle ground between your hourly staff and the guests, right? Like if something goes wrong and it was to no fault of your employee, then it's the manager's job to step in. And so when you're in those environments where you see the manager stepping back and telling you what to do or not wanting to step in the situation themselves, it shows bad leadership. Again, I've also worked in those environments, not candidates, where management's so undependable, and it makes it so hard to do your job. And you feel like not only can you not grow in your position, but you also don't know who to seek help from. And I never want to be that guy, because I was in those situations. I don't want to represent that negativity. Yeah. That's why it's really important to just be that middleman, just wherever I can. Whatever.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I love that. Now, if you could be doing something else outside of the hospitality industry, what would that be?
I think it's obvious. We haven't talked about it too much on the podcast, but you know me very well. I'm a musician. And that's what I grew up doing. I started playing guitar when I was like 11 or 12 years old. It's something that I did.
How old do you know? 29?
29. Yeah.
Oh, that was a good guess.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
That's a good guess.
I turned 30 in September.
Okay, big 3-0.
Yes, sir. But yeah. So obviously, being a musician is something that's always been in my heart and my soul, and something I really care about, and something that I continue on to this day. That's another large portion of my income that provides for Jess and I, my wife. So obviously, that's something that I've always been doing full time. 3 times I've tried to do it full time, with the last being after I left Muscle Trainers. And it worked out really well. And it's not that things are going bad. It's just that it wasn't enough, and the hard thing with being a musician is just you're always waiting on the check. And so you can never really get caught up. And so that was our problem, is we were never underwater, but we didn't have our float. You know what I'm saying? And
That's a good analogy.
yeah, and so we were just having to work really hard. We were getting really tired.
Yeah.
Boy, I didn't want to drown. I'm really carrying this analogy on, but so yeah, and that's when I reached back out to the company. And, I asked for dishwashing kits, and they
Wow,
so
this is
graciously, provide me with the shift lead opportunity. But yeah, that's always my goal. I think it's too obvious to say musician. Like I love sports, and I love the Braves. And in a past life, I would have loved to have gotten some kind of broadcasting or journalism degree. Because I love the whole way here. I listen to 680 the fan, like literally, because it's kind of like a podcast, but apparently at a sports with really annoying radio commercials. But I love talking about sports, and I love reading about sports and the history of the game, specifically baseball. I enjoy football and NFL and college a little bit. College is changing much now, though. But I just, in a past life, I would have loved to have finished college because I tried twice, dropped out twice.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to explore that because I did take a couple of journalism writing. And I found it really interesting. I always hated college because I knew what I wanted to do with my life. So why am I having to take math course or like physics classes? Because I'm not book smart. I'm not. And so that's why I couldn't finish college. But sometimes I wish that I had the motivation to do that. Because that's something that I'm really enjoy. And, it's something I'm so passionate about sports that I genuinely believe it's something I would have given up hospitality and music for. To make an actual career. Because to me, I don't think I've had a career. I've just have worn many different. But something in that realm.
Yeah.
More realistic than musician. But I just tell you about love for the game.
Yeah, I respect that. So I could have seen you as like a broadcaster for like the Braves or like
Really?
you got the baseball team. Yeah.
Yes.
So I never knew that. So when you said it, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Sometimes I
That's really
daydream
cool.
about it, but I don't have, I don't know the people in that world.
Yeah, that's understandable.
A lot of times it helps to have like some kind of college background or something like that.
Yeah.
None of that. I got a whole unfinished degree. I think if I went back to college now, all of my credits would be at zero.
So you had to start over.
I think I left college in 2017 or something like that. I left KSD back then. So
Yeah, I think so. Well, I thought it was 10 years, but it might be a little shorter than that.
yeah,
So you might have to start all the way over, and this is probably not, too much worth it. If
at
you
this
had,
point I'm done.
yeah,
There's no way.
if you had the opportunity to like talk on like a local radio show, like a sports show, would you do it?
Absolutely. I don't think I'd know as much. I think it'd be a lot like this when we first sat down. I'd get really nervous.
Yeah,
You just start going back and forth because a lot of it's really just banter.
Yeah,
Which is
yeah,
what we're
exactly.
doing right now. You
Yep.
just about different topics and stuff like that. But yeah, I probably listen to too much sports radio because I know I'll be listening to it around the house and Jess will be with me and I'll start singing the radio jingles and stuff like that. Or my buddy will be driving with me. I'll be like, hold up, wait. And I'll repeat the whole intro and then talk every day.
Listen, don't even feel bad because when I'm driving or even when I'm home and I'm not listening to music, I'm listening to sports podcasts.
Yeah.
I listen to Kevin Lear's podcast. I'm listening to like it's a podcast called All the Smoke with Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. I listen to a podcast called Hoops and Brews. I've listened to them for like 7-8 years.
Yeah.
So I definitely understand. Like, I have a similar passion.
Yeah.
Like of sport, especially mine like NFL, NBA. Like I can watch sports all day.
Yeah.
It's all day.
And especially baseball season starting up.
Yeah.
12 days, I think,
Yeah.
or something like that.
I'm still trying to merge into the baseball realm.
Yeah,
I
it
still
takes
can watch
time.
it. So okay.
It takes time, and I understand it. I understand why some people hate baseball. They're making it a little easier to watch. I mean, I'm old school. I like it before the new rules, but they're making it, and the popularity is going up. And so it is growing once again. And so I'm glad you're at least trying it out.
Yeah.
It's by far my favorite sport.
Yeah. I've been to like, I think 2 or 3 Braves games.
Mhm.
And actually when you're in person, you know, like it's definitely a different experience.
Sure.
It's just when it's like on TV, since I'm used to kind of a faster pace sport,
Yeah.
you know, I have to give myself time. And then if I feel like, you know, like nothing's going on, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready to watch something else. But I have recently in the last year and a half, I watched like maybe like 6, 7, not Braves, Red Sox games.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I watch about 6, 7 episodes, 6, 7 games of the Red Sox, and it is enjoyable.
Yeah.
It is. I just had to give it more of a chance.
I mean, I won't lie. That sometimes on Sundays I'll fall asleep during the game. Like it gets like that sometimes. I mean, there's 162 baseball.
Yeah, that's
games.
a lot of games.
There's talk about cutting it down, and I'm like, no, let's add more. Actually,
Let's add more.
I love baseball. So, yeah, anything Atlanta.
Yeah. If you were to go on tour for, you know, your music, what would that look like? Like, would you be more of like kind of like Christian religious music, or would you, you know, be playing like all your music that you love?
Yeah.
One second, take the camera off. I'm listening.
Yeah, I think that it's tough, right? I think any musician would say, because I know guys that go out on tour and they're playing music that they don't actually want to play. So like maybe they're playing with a country artist, maybe it is a CCM artist, and they might not necessarily want to do it. I think for me, I would probably just take the gig, right? Like if someone saw something in me where they were like, "Hey, we want David out there with us. He's a good guy. He's a great player, and we want him to roll with us." I would probably say yes.
Okay.
Because there have been times where I took gigs that I really didn't want to do. I really didn't want to do it, but I did it because the people that were asking me to do it, I couldn't believe do it, and they were asking me to do it again and again and again. And I'm like, I just really feel like this isn't my thing, but yet here they are, and they continue to come back. So I should keep doing it. So for me, I would take whatever is offered. Now, obviously, growing up in the church and that environment, that's something that I'd definitely be more comfortable with. But as far as like maybe like more gospel, CCM, it's like radio Christian music, stuff like that. Although I didn't like radio, I wish that I have a group of friends. I wish that we could do something that was cool enough that would just stick. And because for me, we talked about this in the office at Mustang Turners. It's not about the money. It'll nothing I ever do will be driven by money. So if I'm happy making enough money to live, playing music that I love with people that I love, that would be my dream. I never wanted to be a millionaire. And as I get older, I did buy a house. I have no idea how ever, but I would just be happy to be with my friends. And that would be my dream. Is just to play music with my friends. We've gotten close a couple times. Hasn't always worked out, but just like the service industry, the music world is just as much like that ex-girlfriend. It's kind of toxic. But the first time they call you, you're like, yeah, I'll be there. What's up? So we roll, and I keep going, and I hope for every opportunity. And I just see what happens. I'm not really worried about the future or what might not. I'm trying to take the day at a time. Just think that.
Hurt. I got some quick hitters for you to close us out. Favorite food to eat when you were younger?
La Paria.
Wow.
It's a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, okay. I was like, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a Mexican. It's a chain. The first one was on the Marietta Square. The one I grew up going to was on Dallas. So down area.
Yeah.
And it used to be much smaller. And when I was a kid, you would be waiting like 30 minutes for a table. And I'd always say they should buy out the Chinese restaurant next door because no one's ever in the Chinese restaurant. Well, some years ago they bought it out, and now it's just this huge location.
That's cool.
But I don't go to that one anymore because I might run into
He said, I don't want to see y'all.
No, absolutely not. La Brea, that's where we went all the time.
So what's your favorite meal to get at La Brea?
Combination 23, one burrito, one taco, rice and beef. If I'm anything, I'm a creature of habit. And I know what I want. I'm going to go to the same restaurant. It's crazy because I've had the opportunity to work in this fantastic company with really great food. And on my time off, I go to Taco Mac. I go to Taco Mac and I get 6 Percy wings. Like I eat what I know that I'm going to enjoy.
Yeah.
Number 23.
That is funny. What's your favorite cuisine? Would it be Mexican?
No, I don't want to give you a blanket answer because I don't know if I have one, to be honest. Korean barbecue, which you and I have.
Yeah.
I was so full that day. I had to go to work after work.
You was dragging, huh?
Bro, I was, but I do it 100 times out of 100 times.
Yeah, Korean barbecue definitely is like top tier for me. Definitely like top 3. Yeah.
I think that's honestly it's not my go-to, but it's probably my favorite meal, honestly. My wife and I, we just won't eat all day.
You can get Korean
We'll
barbecue.
get there, and then we'll get there like right at 5 o'clock before it gets busy, and it's over.
Yeah.
And it's over. I mean, we will eat like an unhealthy amount of red meat because we just get the Hawaiian bulgogi over.
Yeah, I remember you told me.
That's we'll throw in a soy chicken to throw them off, and then we'll just like
get that bulgogi.
Yeah.
So we did get that, I think, like 3 to 4 times when we went. But it was good, though. So it was all good because it was worth it. Yeah, I was a Korean barbecue.
You get kind of hungry.
What are some of the important lessons you learned in your hospitality journey?
Really, you gotta like, if you say that you care about people, you have to mean it. Because and for the first time, I'm not talking about staff. I'm talking about guests. I mean, obviously, but I'm talking about guests because you will have a range of people come in, young, old, mean, nice, whatever. But if you really don't enjoy people and giving people a great experience, maybe taking something they thought was negative, positive, you're really not going to enjoy it. And so for me, what I enjoy is, it sounds sort of corny and so tacky, but I really just love looking around during a busy service and not seeing anyone on their phones, they're just talking, they're smiling, they're laughing, they're having a good time. And I think that if you don't love people, you're not going to love what you do. Mm-hmm. And so genuine, like that's what drives me. Look around at a full restaurant, every seat filled, and everyone just happy. But if you don't actually enjoy that, you're just there to get paid. I'm not there to get paid. I'm there to work and do a good job. So I think that's what keeps you going and straight up.
I like that. That was just good. If I could regurgitate that, for like a better word, that was that thing. Spot on.
No, especially because you guys are the ones making it.
Yeah, so we had to put a certain level of passion into it.
We're just delivering.
Yeah.
You guys are on the front line.
Yeah.
Remy called it the trenches.
Yeah, trenches, yeah.
Yeah.
The trenches. Oh, what else? Biggest kitchen pet peeve.
Bro, I hate sticky surfaces. Yeah. And I did it in my tournament. I do it at local 3. I'll take a sandy rag and I'll wipe down your head stuff while you're working on it because I'm like, bro, we're selling this food and there's just all this built up in the busy service. I can't stand uncleanliness in general. Mm-hmm. Like my house is not this big, we've been really busy, but my house is like I try and keep it as polished as possible, and then I turn it over into the restaurant, and I can't stand dirty stations. There are people you can see that they have a different flow. They might get the job done, but to me, like a really good kitchen employee can serve all those dishes while the station still looks pretty darn clean. I was going to say immaculate, but I don't think that's a fair standard to put on no, because sometimes it does get crazy. But then to the front of house, I can't stand dirty floors. specifically sweeping. And so even sometimes after I let the staff go home and I'm waiting on the club, I'll go back and because I'm so hateful. I can't stand dirty. But again, that's how I live outside of the restaurant. I'm just overall cleanliness. Keep it clean. Serving people food.
Exactly.
Gotta make sure.
Exactly. Agreed. And my last question, one of the biggest obstacles you've overcame
Just personally or within the industry?
within the industry. Sometimes that does tie into like personally because you realize certain things about yourself. But if you don't have an experience like that, just within the industry.
I think honestly for me, it's just growing up. Like I'm not this old wise man, but I do feel that I'm now that I'm like 30 and I reflect on, starting at Zaxby almost 10 years ago and to where I'm at now. Literally the biggest hurdle I've had to overcome is myself. In growing up and just having the experience, knowing that it's okay to be wrong, it's okay to be frustrated, but at the end of the day, are you still going to deliver on your word, and are you still going to be the best version of yourself in front of the people that you see all the time? And I can say for a fact that both at previous jobs I had, but also especially at Mustang Turners, I don't think I always put my best self out there. And so really it's just growing up and understanding your place in your world and just realizing that it's not about you. It's not about any of us. It's why are people here? They're here. Take everything out of it. They're here to eat. So let's do everything that we can do. Let's put our prides and our egos and everything else to the side. Let's put to the side our way. Let's all come to an agreement and let's execute. Because that's really all.
Yep. Yes,
but
sir.
If you can't personally step outside of yourself and overcome your egos and your biases, I don't think you're going to be happy. I won't say successful. I'm sure you can still be successful because there's plenty of people with an ego that are successful.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be known for who I am and not what what I need. And so I just want to be the best person David that I speak. But I had to overcome that, over the couple of years. There's plenty more. There's still things that, piss me off. Like, there's still things that annoy me. There's still people that I have to learn how to work with. But I think now I'm at a better place mentally to handle that and to understand, okay, I'm me, they're them. How are we going to work together? Eat. That's what we're here to do. We're here to serve the food. I still say this. I got a mic shout out now. And I still say this day. It's not rock. Just serving.
Yeah.
You remember when he said that?
Yeah.
It's
he,
not.
He said it often too.
Yeah. It's not rocket science, bro. We're here to just do our job.
Yes, sir.
So let's do it. Let's overcome whatever we got to overcome outside of here. Make sure that they get. It's a mic.
The only David we acknowledge Gonzales.
Bro, I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on 8ighty 6ix.
Yeah,
man.
bro.
This is a good one. I told you I had to catch you.
It wasn't bad at all. Yeah, man. I appreciate it, and I appreciate our friendship. And
yes,
two people who have completely different backgrounds, and grew up in different cities, and and we met at this random ex deli.
Yeah.
And to call you a friend is a blessing and an honor.
Thank you.
And I really appreciate your presence in my life, and I'm proud to call you a friend.
Thank you, man. I'm the same to you. I don't know, my voice is not voice, my words not wording. And that's one thing I'm gonna finish it off with this. I always say, the people at the job that you meet, they come from stories that you have no idea what they're about or what they've been through. And then when you meet here and to share a bond, like sometimes it's fate, that's destiny.
100%.
So like for us to meet and, have this kind of relationship that we do have and to be able to still be legit friends and genuine with each other. And we have different backgrounds, like that's special. Especially at work, because once you leave work, 90% of people you never want to talk to anymore.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
See y'all in the next episode.
Appreciate y'all.